When a man found himself unable to properly care for his beloved dog, instead of resorting to adoption or taking her to a shelter, he made the heart-wrenching decision to venture deep into the forest and leave her there. But years later, an unimaginable twist of fate awaited the lonely and abandoned canine. Dakota, a beautiful and affectionate dog, had an unbreakable bond with her owner, a man named Paul. He had adopted her as a puppy and nurtured her into a strong and graceful adult dog. Together, they embarked on long walks and spent their days inseparably, epitomizing the ideal human-dog companionship. In addition to their cherished walks, Paul utilized Dakota's hunting prowess and occasionally bred her with other dogs, resulting in litters of puppies that fetched a handsome price once they matured. Dakota proved to be a devoted and nurturing mother, caring for her offspring from birth until the day they found new homes. Dakota held a unique trait. Her puppies bore a striking resemblance to wild wolves, a consequence of her escape and breeding with a wolf in the past. This distinction didn't faze Paul. In fact, it enhanced the market value of the puppies he sold. However, after 4 litters, it became evident that Dakota's health couldn't withstand further breeding. Veterinarians strongly advised against pairing her with another mate. Around that time, the bond between Paul and Dakota started to deteriorate. Paul grew distant and showed less affection towards his faithful companion, as if his interest in her had waned. One day, he took Dakota on an extensive walk deep into the forest, far beyond their usual routes. After a lengthy trek, Paul removed Dakota's collar and playfully threw a stick for her to fetch. She enthusiastically chased after it, relishing the game. Yet, when she retrieved the stick and turned around, she found herself utterly alone. Whimpering and barking, she desperately called for her master, but Paul had vanished. Lost and forsaken, Dakota gradually came to terms with the fact that she had been abandoned. With a heavy heart, she curled up on a bed of leaves and fell into a restless slumber. When Dakota awoke, the darkness and cold surrounded her, but her keen sense of smell detected the presence of another creature, or perhaps more than one. Struggling to discern her surroundings, she strained her eyes through the obscurity, and suddenly, a large gray wolf emerged from the shadows. Dakota, unafraid, stood to greet the towering wolf. They exchanged prolonged sniffs, and the wolf eventually lay down. Without hesitation, Dakota joined him, revealing the familiarity that existed between the two animals. In truth, this wolf was the very one with which Dakota had bred several years ago. They recognized each other and shared a strange, profound animal connection. The alpha wolf, clearly the leader of the pack, seemed to grasp that Dakota was distressed, silently vowing to protect her. Other wolves approached, baring their teeth and growling menacingly at Dakota, but the alpha swiftly intervened, snapping at them to maintain order. His pack soon realized that Dakota, though a mere dog, was now one of them, and they began to accept her into their ranks. Over the ensuing months, Dakota underwent her initiation into the pack. While she missed Paul deeply as the days turned into weeks without him searching for her, it became evident that he had abandoned her without a second thought. Dakota formed bonds with all the wolves, playing with them and grooming them. Yet, her most remarkable role remained her maternal instinct. Dakota had always excelled as a mother, and one day she had the chance to put her nurturing skills to the test. A female wolf had recently given birth, but the ordeal had taken a heavy toll on her body, ultimately claiming her life just moments after delivering 3 cubs. Fortunately, Dakota stepped in, caring for the orphan pups as if they were her own. She nursed them, groomed them, and imparted crucial survival skills. As the tiny cubs grew into adorable young wolves, Dakota remained their steadfast protector, just as a real mother would have. When the time came for them to venture out and form their own pack, Dakota experienced the same bittersweet ache she had felt every time Paul had given her own puppies away. Several years passed, and one day Dakota ventured deep into the forest for a leisurely stroll. She still cherished her walks, running as fast as she could and engaging in playful games reminiscent of her time with Paul. Unbeknownst to her, she had strayed a little too far from her pack and into the territory of another group of wolves. This was perilous, especially for a dog. Dakota wandered blissfully until she sensed eyes observing her from the trees. Slowly, a pack of strange wolves closed in, unfamiliar with the presence of a dog in their territory, viewing her as an easy prey to hunt and devour. Dakota trembled and emitted a low whimper as the aggressive and menacing pack of wolves encircled her. There seemed to be no way out. Her fate appeared sealed. They say that before death, one's life flashes before their eyes. Well, it's said that the same holds true for dogs. Dakota recollected her earliest memories of being adopted by Paul, relishing the time they spent together, the numerous litters she produced, and the eventual betrayal when he abandoned her in the forest. She remembered her encounter with the wolf, who unconditionally welcomed her into the pack, and her role in raising the cubs, cherishing them as if they were her own. Closing her eyes, she prepared for the wolves to strike, but suddenly, an unexpected sound reached her ears. 3 wolves leaped from the forest's darkness, lunging at the larger wolves surrounding Dakota. The strange wolf pack focused on their new attackers, launching a ferocious defense. Growls, bites, and scratches filled the air as they violently clashed with the intruders. After a protracted battle, the unfamiliar pack retreated, defeated by the 3 resolute and enigmatic wolves who had come to Dakota's rescue. Throughout the skirmish, Dakota lay flat against the ground, as still as a stone, hoping to avoid being caught up in the fray. As she looked up, her tail began to wag at the sight of her saviors. They were the 3 cubs she had raised several years earlier, now towering over her in size but still unmistakably recognizable. She could identify them by their looks and scent anywhere. Dakota sprang to her feet, rushing to each one in turn, showering them with affection and gratitude. On that fateful day, her life was saved by the very children who weren't her own. However, it was evident that these cubs saw Dakota as the mother they had never known, and they held a lasting memory of the kindness she had bestowed upon them. This heartwarming tale serves as a testament to the fact that while humans may sometimes turn their backs on animals, the animal kingdom never forsakes its own. Despite differences in time, distance, or species, their capacity to love and protect one another remains unwavering. So it begs the question, are animals truly as simple-minded as we often assume, or is it us humans who underestimate their intelligence and compassion? The answer lies with you. What are your thoughts on this remarkable story? Would you have the strength to part ways with your pet if circumstances forced you to make such a difficult decision? As always, we value your input and welcome your thoughts and opinions in the comments section below. However, it was evident that these cubs saw Dakota as the mother they had never known, and they held a lasting memory of the kindness she had bestowed upon them. This heartwarming tale serves as a testament to the fact that while humans may sometimes turn their backs on animals, the animal kingdom never forsakes its own. Despite differences in time, distance, or species, their capacity to love and protect one another remains unwavering. So it begs the question, are animals truly as simple-minded as we often assume, or is it us humans who underestimate their intelligence and compassion? The answer lies with you. What are your thoughts on this remarkable story? Would you have the strength to part ways with your pet if circumstances forced you to make such a difficult decision? As always, we value your input and welcome your thoughts and opinions in the comments section below.